Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is 2:52 a.m. Let me get my lip gloss out before I put some lip balm on first. But let me get my lip gloss out before we get into this video. I just left the house and I was sitting in the driveway and I was watching the music video for Taylor Swift's Cardigan. I have a Diet Pepsi, and then I also have this bottle of water. I think I showed this in my PO unboxing. Oh, you know what? I think I showed this in my PO unboxing. This is so gorgeous, isn't it? This water bottle that I was sent. And I feel really bad because I can't remember who sent it to me, but I absolutely love this. I think it's so gorgeous. But I think I showed it in my PO unboxing that then I deleted by accident. But isn't this so pretty? I love it. But I was watching the Cardigan music video by Taylor Swift. So Taylor Swift put a new album out tonight. I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan. I don't dislike her by any means. Like, I like her. I've talked a lot about this on here. I'm a huge country music fan. Oh my god, it's so cold. It tastes so good. I just filled it from my Brita thing, or whatever I have, Pure or Brita or whatever that is. But anyway, so when Taylor Swift started playing country music, or came out with country music years and years and years ago, I listened to her then. And then when she kind of crossed over, I kept on listening to her. I don't know, there's something about her that, like, she's not like my go-to. Like, there's songs of hers that I like. But, like, I love the song Mean by Taylor Swift. But, like, she's not somebody that I could just, like, I know, like, I was, you know, like, Steven Hill, who I've shouted out a lot on this channel, he loves Taylor Swift. She's not somebody for me that I could just listen to, like, hours of. You know, and in all actuality, I don't have many musicians that I probably could listen to for hours like that, you know? Like, even an hour straight, honestly. And if I did, it would be like the Grateful Dead, which is so funny because I had their t-shirt on, or like certain Stevie Nicks albums, or Fleetwood Mac albums, or Judy Collins, or Bob Dylan. But even then, oh, maybe the Smiths. But even then, like, I'm not somebody that, like, loves every song that even my favorite musician puts out. I'm just not, like, I don't love, like, live or die for, like, every song they put out. Or, like, oh my god, this one, and I analyze it. I've never been like that. You know, even with my favorite musicians, I'm like, well, I like this song, but I don't like that song, and things like that, you know? Or, like, I'm in a certain mood for a song or whatever. Like, okay, Subterranean Homesick Blues by Bob Dylan is probably one of my least favorite Bob Dylan songs. Like, in all honesty, if I never heard it again, I'd be completely fine. Some of Stevie Nicks, like, newer stuff, I don't die for. I just think it's, I like her vocals more. So, I don't know. But anyway, I was watching that video, Cardigan. It's beautifully done. It's a beautiful, beautiful video. And I get the symbology of the cardigan at the end of the music video and stuff like that. I will say this about Taylor Swift's videos, for her being, I actually was going to look up and see how young she is. I mean, she's probably like is she like mid-20s now? Something like that. Like, her videos are very, like, she's smart. Like, I mean, obviously she's smart. I mean, to get to where she's at, she's very smart, right? But I don't mean that. I mean, like, as a music writer, she's, like, very intellectual. There's a lot of symbology in her music. But it's almost kind of like you have to be, like, a diehard Taylor fan to pick up on those symbols. And I'm not, or a Swiftie, or whatever they call them, you know? and I'm just not. But I thought it was a beautiful song. But I have to tell you that, and I haven't listened to the rest of the album. I'm also not that person that sits down when a new album comes out and just like listens to it straight through. Like I'm not that person. Like Lady Gaga is a good example. Like, you know, when her music comes out, people like listen to an album straight through. Now I love Lady Gaga, right? But I don't do that. And you know what's really funny about Lady Gaga? I was gonna say Lady Gaga, is that by the way, in my phone, haha always like translates into Gaga, and then I have to go in and it autocorrects to Gaga, and I have to correct it. But anyway, most often when her songs come out, I do not like them. Like, what was the newest run? It's not called Let It Rain. What's it called? Something Rain on Me. Like, when it first came out, like, we sat there and talked about it, Melissa and I, and she loved it because she loves Gaga, and I can remember being on the phone talking to her about it, and she's like, oh my god, I love this song. And I was like, Melissa, I just didn't think it was that great, and I hated the music video. I still do. I think the music video is stupid. But anyway, she's like, oh my god, I loved it. I thought it was so great. It was so this. I was like, okay. Now I love that song, you know. I downloaded it and I started listening to it. Now I love that song. But at first when it came out, I didn't like it. But the whole time that I was listening to it and watching the music video, that Cardigan by Taylor Swift, why did I feel like it was a Lana Del Rey cover? Like, because I am a huge Lana Del Rey, like, fan of her music. As a person, not necessarily so much, but of her music, I always have been, especially her older stuff. And I hate the word aesthetic. I really do. I think it's corny and cheesy, but it applies to her. Her whole like vintage aesthetic that she does in like music videos and like her style and stuff like that, to me is very, very cool. Plus, if you go back and you read the history of what she did before, I don't know how much of it's made up, but she supposedly worked in like treatment programs and had gotten like sober herself at one point, and so like our backgrounds are very similar. I don't know much about. I feel like Lana Del Rey is like one of those made up celebrities. Like, you don't really know what's the truth about her. You know what I mean? I just know that I, for a very long time, thought Lana Del Rey was very, very cool. And I do love her music. She actually has a song with Stevie Nicks called Beautiful People. Is it called Beautiful People? Something like that. That I love that song. But, I felt like that Cardigan song was like a Lana Del Rey cover. Like, I thought I was listening to a Lana Del Rey song in parts of it. And I even looked at the end of it because I thought, well, maybe Lana Del Rey wrote this. Nope, it was written by Taylor Swift. So that's what I think about that. Does anybody care? I did tweet something out about it though, because I thought everybody will be talking about it, so let's see what they think. Now I kind of have it stuck in my head a little bit though. I guess that's a good sign of it. You know, I don't know that I would download it. Like, that's the question I always ask, if I like a song. Like, would you buy it on iTunes? Like, that's the question I ask. Like, if it's a song I like, would listen to over and over and over again. I know people have Spotify and all that kind of stuff, but I don't. I have iTunes. I just buy the songs. Peter, what did you do today? Thank you for asking me. Oh my god, that was so nice of you. What did I do today? Well, my back has been killing me all day long, my lower back. I think it's because I'm sleeping on my stomach. Tonight, when I lay down at like 10:30. Alex was going to bed. It was funny because we were like laying in bed talking. And, so Alex and I have this little game we play where, like, we'll be in bed talking and I'll be like wanting to go to sleep, but I'm the only one talking, right? Because he's like playing his game, and so he'll be like, and then I'll go, stop talking to me, I'm trying to sleep. It's like this stupid little thing we do, right? So anyway, I said to him, I go, you're just gonna play your game all night long and you're never gonna get any sleep. And so he actually, like, he was like, I'm tired. He like turned his game off. He was showing me, he was so proud of it. He like started a new city or something, and he's got an amusement park and a water park and an aquarium. He was showing me like everything. But anyway, he's still playing that, what's that game called? Township. He loves it. So anyway, he's like, you have to earn like points and stuff. I don't understand it really, I guess. I don't understand it really at all. At all, period, end of story. But anyway, so my plan had been to lay down from 10:30 to 12, okay? To come out and vlog from like 12:15 to like 1:15, then listen to my audiobook until like 3, which would be like, you know, 2 strong hours, so 4 hours of the book, so I would get like half the book done. And then go to sleep early. I've got this recovery commitment tomorrow, and I was gonna get up at like 10 and go to the pool from like 10 to 12:30, and then go to this recovery commitment thing, and then come back, it's from 1 to 3. From afterwards, come to the pool for like another hour and a half, because it's supposed to be nice tomorrow, and then make videos. Well, Peter slept till 2:30. So, there's that. I won't be getting up early tomorrow. And I was like, I couldn't get comfortable at all tonight. Like, I just, first of all, I was really hot in like bed. Like, I even checked the temperature downstairs. We set it, we keep it at 69, and it's 69 in the house. But it felt like our upstairs, like, it takes a long time to cool down. And I just was like so hot. I just kept on getting so hot. And then at one point, I kept on hearing like something on the floor, like scratching on the floor. I was like, what is that? And like, I looked down, and it was Boo Radley. He sometimes jumps off the bed. And I just think it was hot in our room in general, because sometimes when he gets hot or something, I don't know, but sometimes he goes down to his house and he sleeps down in his house by himself if we have the door open. But the door was closed, so I think he jumped down, like, trying to go to his house, and then, so I picked him up, and I was like, oh, Boo Radley, you were down on the floor, because he's like, he does that little crying thing. He's so sweet. But, I couldn't get comfortable to save my life. Our upstairs, like, the ventilation of the air is not great. So, like, we try to keep the bathroom door and the closet door open at all times, so it kind of, like, circulates air, but it doesn't even really circulate any air. A couple years ago, when we got a new air conditioner and furnace, like, it helped at first. You know, we probably just need to change, I wonder if we need to change the filter on the air conditioning. I haven't even done that in forever. We need to do that. That's probably a big part of it. But anyway, yeah, I bet that's a big part of it. I'll go tomorrow and get one at Walmart. I think we have some down in the basement, actually. I don't even know if I know the right kind of filters anymore to buy. Last time I bought like 4 filters. They came in like a package. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The big filters for the furnace, air conditioner things. We used to have these kinds that just like slid into the side of this thing, but we have a new air conditioner and furnace now. So today I actually was gonna buy these sheets. Well, it was this comforter that I saw. I keep on seeing it on Instagram, probably because I look at it so many times and then it keeps on coming up, because you know how your phone does that now. And it's called Buffy. Have you guys heard of this? It's supposed to be this comforter that like either keeps you really cool at night, or, I'm gonna sneeze. Thank you. The people love when I say that. I don't know why. It just cracks me up because I feel like we're having a conversation. But it's called Buffy. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's like this comforter, and it's supposed to feel like a cloud. And it's actually not too expensive for like a California king. It's like under $100, which is pretty cheap for like a comforter for a California king. Or so. But all of their stuff is pretty cheap. So I got online today, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna order this stuff. And it was like, do you wanna like make a set? And I was like, sure, I'll make a set. I'll get sheets and all this kind of stuff. And I honestly thought like sheets would be like $40, you know, duvet cover would be like $40, and the whole thing would come to like maybe $200 max, right? $529 when I had it all added up together. I was like, oh no, ma'am, I'm not getting this. I don't care how comfortable it is. I don't care if I'm actually sleeping in a cloud. I'm not buying this. Forget it. $529. And And I know some people are probably like, that's cheap for bedding. It's not cheap for bedding for me. I got a Bed Bath & Beyond. That's way expensive for any kind of bedding I would get. I mean, not for like usable bedding that you're gonna like use every single night, you know, and like roll around in and stuff like that and throw in the washing machine. That's expensive to me. It supposedly has eucalyptus sheets. I don't know why those are supposed to be more comfortable or why those are supposed to be cooler or anything, but apparently they're supposed to be. I don't know why. So anyway, I got up today. Sometimes when I vlog and I'm talking about like what I did over the last day, like it's hard for me to remember. What did I do? Okay, so I got up. I don't remember. I got up late because I drove around till like 6 a.m. listening to The Guest List last night by Lucy Foley, which was my third book that I finished for the reading rush. That book was so fantastic. That's honestly probably one of the top 2 or 3 books I've read this year, if not in the top 2. I don't even know what the other top book would be. I'd have to go back and look and see what books I've read. It was such a fantastic mix of like Agatha Christie, Evil Under the Sun, and like Liam Moriarty, Big Little Lies. It was so good. It was so fantastic. And it's about this couple that's getting married on this island off the coast of Ireland. But like that makes it sound like something that it's really not. I mean, it is so good. And it's told from like 4 different people's points of views. And you know, like there's this big mystery that occurs on like the wedding night, but you don't know what it is. And it all takes place within 24 hours leading up to it. It's so good. So anyway, I definitely recommend The Guest List by Lucy Foley. And then I finished that, and then like I had like, I went to bed. I literally went to bed at like 6:30 in the morning. And I listened to like 15 minutes of my new book that I'm listening to, which is called Thresher, and I think it's by Michael Cole. And it's about this great white shark that's like attacking this like off coastal town that's like, I don't know, having a sailing tournament, and the hurricane just came through. It's very corny. It's very corny. I'm like a half an hour into it right now, and it's 11 hours and 35 minutes. So I've got, like, if I listen to it at 2 times speed, I have 5.5 hours left of this book. And I'm like, how am I going to do it? And this is what I knew was going to happen. I was going to get to one book in the reading rush that I was not that excited about reading, and then I was going to be stuck in it. And I'm there because, where am I at on time? I'm just not that excited about reading this book. And I actually thought I would be really excited about reading this book. I'm glad I didn't read it before The Guest List. Because it's about sharks, and, you know, I love shark stuff. But, like, it's written, I wouldn't say it's written poorly. It's just basic. There's no, like, I mean, it's definitely not written like literary fiction or anything like that. I mean, it's not like, it's very just like, Johnny went to the store, Johnny got beer, Johnny sat there and had 5 beers, the shark ate Johnny. I mean, it's very much like that, you know? And, I don't know, it's just not that great of a book to listen to, but it's whatever. So, I started that yesterday, and then today I've been listening to a little bit of it, but not much. I still have 11 hours left of it, like right at 11 hours. And then I went and I got my coffee. I got up today. I finally got like out of the house at like 3 o'clock, and I went and I got my coffee, and then I went to Hardee's and I did this review of this Beyond Meat spicy barbecue, Beyond Spicy Barbecue Cheeseburger or something like that. It was pretty good, actually. But I didn't eat the whole thing. I just I got full kind of really quick. I don't know, like eating a cheeseburger in the car in the middle of the middle of the 86-degree day was like, it was a lot. And then later what happened was I got hungry tonight, and so I went and got Burger King for Alex and I. Well, he just wanted some fries. But then I couldn't even eat all of it, and I think that's kind of why I couldn't sleep tonight. I was uncomfortable. I was kind of like, I've eaten too much today. Something smells like it's burning over there. A bonfire in the woods. So scary. I always wonder what's over here. There's like this huge fence. It's like 10 feet high. It looks like and it's just woods, right? But this is not like a neighborhood, because it backs up to like Connor Prairie, which is the prairie settlement. It almost makes me feel like it's like government back in there, like War Games. Did you ever see that movie? It reminds me of that. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's like all this woods over here. I don't know if you can see, right here, there's like a 10-foot high fence. Do you see that? I bet it's higher than that. I bet it's like 20 feet high. And it goes, I mean, this probably goes for a good 2 miles. And I know that there's no neighborhood on the other side of it. It makes me wonder what's back in there. And then it backs up onto Connor Prairie, which is right up here. And then there's no neighborhood on the other side. So I did that review, and then I did my book vlog, my Reading Rush book vlog. And then I came home and I started getting those videos done. And then I did my drama video, and I did my Peterisms video, and I got that stuff done kind of early. It was like, well, by like 6, I think. And then I fed the dogs and just got my stuff up. I was trying to get a hold of Tanya today. I never got a hold of her. She called me, and then like I called her, and then I called her again, and then I called her again, and she never answered. So she probably had a long day at work. So yeah. That's where I'm at with it. It's my day. And then I lay down. Oh, then Alex came home at like 8 o'clock. And he worked on some stuff, and because he does a lot of like contractual stuff at home that like he doesn't do during the day at work. So he came home and he was working on some stuff. And then I went and got Burger King, and he wanted fries, and they ended up giving me 2 fries. Well, I think, okay, so they asked me if I wanted a combo and with my Impossible Whopper, and so I said yes, and then I said and then I need a large onion ring, and I think they gave me the fries as part of my combo, and then I said, oh, and I also need a large fry, so I think that's what happened. So I got like 2 large fries, or I think I got like a medium fry and a large fry, so the medium fry was partly part of my combo, and so Alex sat there and ate his fries, and I ate my dinner, and we watched Family Feud. We've been like watching Family Feud like every night. We just sit there and watch like an episode or 2 together. And it's so funny because like at first he like thought it was so stupid, and now like he laughs at all of Steve Harvey's jokes, because I think it's just, I love it. I love the fact that it's just like so wholesome. I don't know why, I just do. And I just crack up at all of Steve Harvey's jokes. And I just love Family Feud so much. I just do. I don't know what it is. And so Alex now like laughs and stuff at the jokes, and but he doesn't shout out any of the answers. I go, you never shout out any of the answers. And he was like, so? I'm like, you're too afraid to say the answer because you know that you'll be wrong. He's like, no. He sometimes does. Rarely, but sometimes he'll like shout out the answers. I shout out all the answers on Family Feud, on all the quiz shows and the game shows. I used to call them game shows, never quiz shows. But on all the game shows, I shout out all the answers. And so anyway, we did that, and then I tried to call Tanya. He talked to his friend on the phone for a little bit, and then in the kitchen, and then I tried to get a hold of Tanya again. I couldn't get a hold of her, and so then we went upstairs and lay down, and that was our day. Very non-eventful day. But it was a good day. It was actually nicer outside than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be like super, super cloudy today. And it was like earlier in the day, but in the afternoon... What is that noise? Thank you, ma'am. In the afternoon, it started to clear up. And it started to, like, it was cloudy, but just a little bit, like sparse clouds. I was going to put my suit on and go to the pool. But, I just didn't feel like it today. I didn't feel sick or anything. I didn't feel off. I just, like, because my stomach hurt yesterday, I told you guys. But, like, my back hurt all day today. My lower back. I don't know what I did. I don't know if it's because I'm so fat. I don't know if it's because I'm sleeping weird. But it's, like, just my lower back. So anyway, it's like when I bend over and stuff, it like really hurts. So I just was like, I want to go, and like, I'll be honest, like when I go to the pool, sometimes like my back is hurt now for like a week. Sometimes when I go to the pool, like it helps with my back a lot. I was telling Tanya that when I was in the pool with her the other day. I was like, I think it's like the weightlessness of the pool, like takes it all away, you know, and makes it not hurt. So I was going to go to the pool. I just never really kind of got around to it. I also wanted to go roller skating tonight. Oh my God, I did though. But, because I had my roller skates out because I used them for my drama video today. I put them on in my drama video. So I was going to go roller skating tonight around the neighborhood. But I didn't. Alex got so excited when he came home because he saw the roller skates out of the box. And I have them like in this place, in this special place in the garage. And he was like, oh, did you go roller skating? And I was like, no. And I showed him my clip in my video where I had him on. He goes, you were so silly. I think I'm gonna be okay. Like, I used to rollerblade all the time. Well, when I was growing up as a kid, I roller skated like nobody's business. Like, I mean, I could do I literally was like, well, I played hockey. I don't know, maybe 2 years, I think, not long. But like, I skated a lot when I was growing up. Like, I skated, and then I roller skated all the time growing up. And then in my 20s, I had rollerblades. I still have my same pair of rollerblades down in the basement. I cannot believe it. Where am I at on time? My good Judy that I lived with at the time, before I got sober and after I got sober, she and I and my ex, my first boyfriend, we all lived in an apartment together. And that was like when I was working, and those were actually some really good times in my life. Like, so my boyfriend at the time, he worked 2 jobs. He worked at this music store at the mall. He was like the assistant manager. And then he did, like, part-time, he worked for the Marriott doing room service. And so he would bring us home, you guys, I mean, the most amazing desserts. Like, every night, he would bring us 2 of those, like, styrofoam, you know, take-home things. You know what I'm talking about? They're, like, this big, the styrofoam things. And it would have, like, carrot cake, tiramisu, all these desserts in there. He would bring us, like, 2 of those home. Loved it. So anyway, you came, like, up the stairs into our apartment, and we had this, like, big living room. And to the corner was, like, my desk with, like, my computer and everything on it. Because I actually, like, in that apartment, that's where I worked on I think I got my master's degree in that apartment. And, would that have been? I remember writing a paper in that apartment. So maybe I did my first year in there. Then that would have meant that we lived in that apartment we lived in that apartment like 3 years, I think, maybe longer. But anyway, you walked in and we had this like huge living room with like a TV and a fireplace. It's like a gas fireplace. And we had this like huge couch with like a chair in the corner and a table. And then we had this like little, what do you call it? Balcony with like 2 chairs on it that like overlooked the street. Like, but it was like this main street into the office area, so you could see the fountains and stuff. And then when you came to the top of our stairs, it was basically like 2 master bedrooms. Like, we had a bedroom like a master bedroom that had a connecting bathroom to it. No, it wasn't 2 master bedrooms. That's not true. So when you walked upstairs, like we had a master bedroom that we shared, he and I, but it wasn't a huge bedroom by any means. We had like a queen size bed, and then like this TV in the corner on the stand, and then 2 like nights. It stopped. These 2 nightstands from like Target, you know, with the pull lights and stuff. It was all like kind of like. Everything in our apartment was very much like that light wood, you know, that Scandinavian kind of look with like, and like white and that. Like our comforter was white. I still have actually the comforter that we had. I still have that comforter at home. And it's like, it is coming apart. It is horrible. It's so funny because forever, Alex and I, when we had 2 separate comforters, because like that is like my most comfortable comforter. It's like the most comfortable comforter because I've had it so long, right? So if I got that the year after I got sober, no. It would have been like a year and a half after I got sober. So, okay, we started dating in October of 95. So we would have moved into that apartment in 96. So I've literally had that comforter since 1996. So 96 to 06, 06 to 06. I've had it 24 years, you guys. Oh my God, that is so funny. I cannot believe it. I guess I could have figured that out because I've been sober 25 and a half years, right? But anyway. So I've had that comforter for 24 years. Like the stuffing is literally coming out of the end and stuff, but I love it. And PP loved that comforter so much too. And Tucker really, really likes it. It's so soft. But then what's so funny about it is that Alex's favorite duvet cover and comforter that he has, which literally the comforter inside of it, which is just like a basic, like, you know, down comforter, is so thin. There's like no feathers in it whatsoever. Like all the feathers have fallen out of it. It's like there's pointless, right? So it's basically like he's just sleeping with a duvet cover. But it's like this heavy duvet cover that has like on the bottom, you know, where it has like the, what do you call it? Like the buttons. If it has like 10 buttons across the button, you know, the buttons that you button, you put the duvet cover inside, then you put the comforter inside, then you button it. I hate duvet covers anyway, just let me tell you. I hate them. I don't think they look any better than just regular comforters. That's why that Marc Jacobs or whatever I bought, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not buying these duvet covers. It's just pointless. But anyway, so I just bought a comforter the last time. It's just too much work. Then you gotta shake them out like this and get them just so they all align. Although I do have a little trick for duvet covers if you want to know. Put the 2 corners in, like the corner of the comforter into the corner of the duvet, corner of the comforter in the corner of the duvet, hold both those things, and then flip it like that, and it'll get it all through. So anyway, a little trick for you. But, and you can also turn it inside out to do that. So anyway, I think, is that the trick? That you do it inside out, then you put it over? I think that's the trick. Somebody taught me that, I can't remember who. But Alex's, is that the trick, the inside out thing? That's the trick. Oh, you lay it inside out, and then you put the comforter on top of it, and then you hold the corners and you flip it around. That's the trick, okay, if you have to do it yourself. Which I always did. But like for Alex, I try to be nice, like, you know, and have his like, you know, like wash his duvet cover when I would do linens for the week. Do I just do like 1 day of linens and stuff? But anyway, so I'm so old school with that stuff. So anyway, but Alex's favorite comforter is this duvet cover that his ex-boyfriend got him like 15 years ago, right? And he's like, but it's so comfortable. I think it's like the most least comfortable thing in the entire world. But anyway, so now we have like 1 comforter. But forever we had 2 separate comforters that both were associated with our exes that we slept under. It was a bed made of love. Isn't it so funny though, what you think is comfortable and what we find comfortable, you know? So anyway, when you walked into that apartment, I was just like, I couldn't remember where the closet was for a second. So you like walk to the top of the stairs. What is going on here? There's like a true, no, I don't like this. This makes me uncomfortable. There was like a, work truck and a pickup truck, and they're just like stopped in the middle of the road here. What's going on here? Oh, and there's another truck. Is the electricity out or something? Oh God, that got me kind of scared. But anyway, when you walked, is the electricity out or something? Doesn't look like it. When you walked to the top of the stairs, like you would, okay, so each apartment had its like own entrance. So it was like each one was like a condo. So you would like walk in downstairs, like outside. Does that make sense? Like it wasn't like you walked into a building and there were 6 doors or 8 doors or something, right? Like each apartment had its own entrance, which I loved. It also felt safer that way. So you walked in, and then like there was like a little shelf to the left where we kept our keys and stuff, and we had like a mirror hanging there. And then you walked up the stairs. I actually lived in 3 different apartments in this apartment complex. I lived there with my friend and my first boyfriend, and then I lived in the second apartment, which was a 1st-story wraparound apartment, like wraparound front porch. And I lived there. It felt very much like a townhouse. I lived there with my first boyfriend, and then when he and I broke up, I lived there by myself, and I started dating my second boyfriend. And then when he moved up from Indianapolis from Seymour, we moved into the 3rd apartment in that complex. And that was probably my favorite apartment that we had, the 3rd one, because you walked up to, it was almost identical to the first one that I had. I think it was identical to the first one I had. Yeah, it was, except for that we didn't have a fireplace, and it overlooked the fountains. So we didn't look over a road. Like both first and second apartment like looked right onto a road. We didn't look over a road. We looked over like the backyard, and we looked over the fountains in the pool. So we had a fantastic view. It was really, really nice. And I love that. God, I love that apartment. But the first apartment, like you would walk in, and then like our room was to the right, and then when you walked in, it was like the bed was to the left, and like, you know, all that, like with the bed in that corner and stuff, or up against that wall. And then when to the right was like a bathroom, and like the bathroom was like around to the left, and the closet was to the right. It was like this walk-in closet. Yeah, it was the exact same apartment that I had, the 3rd apartment that I had. The 1st and the 3rd were the exact same apartment in that complex. And then there was a little kitchen that was kind of like an L kitchen. Like a short L kitchen though. Like you like walked in, and it was like sink, corner, stove, and then refrigerator in the corner, and then it had like a pantry right here. It was a real small kitchen. I wouldn't even consider it. Definitely was not a galley kitchen. I mean, it was a small kitchen. And then we had 2 stools on either side. But it was fun, you know? Like, I loved living in apartments. I miss it sometimes. I miss, like, you know, when something's wrong with your apartment, you just call maintenance and they come and fix it. I mean, we always had, like, great maintenance there, too. It was really weird because, okay, so the first apartment that I ever lived in my life, that I moved out of when I was 18, so my roommate that I then had in my first apartment at the next complex, she moved in with me there, like when I was drinking and things like that. She lived with me for like probably 2.5 years, I think. 20, probably from like 20 to 22, she lived with me. And then she moved, yeah, she moved to her grandfather's probably that summer before I got sober, maybe late summer, I'm thinking, which was kind of the beginning of the end for me. I've never really looked at like her moving as like a big part of like me, like going down the tubes, but I think it probably did. I mean, she really looked after me a lot. Even though she partied just as much as I did at that time. And it is dark out here, but the lights aren't out, so it's like, this house always freaks me out right here. I don't know why. It reminds me of the house in Boys Don't Cry that's out in the middle of nowhere, that Brandon Tina gets killed. What was I gonna say? So anyway, she was really good friends with the office manager at our apartment complex. Like, I think she worked out in the gym there or something like that. And she became friends. I remember his name was Brian. I don't know how I remember that. And she became really good friends with him. He was actually a nice guy. And we had these neighbors, this husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend, that literally would fight. Like, I mean, like, scream and fight. And you could, like, all night long screaming at each other through these walls. And she would go up there and complain about him all the time. She was like, I don't care. She's like, I am not afraid of those people. And she would go up there and complain. And so this Brian guy was our office manager, and he was super, super nice. And they got along really, really well. And we moved into the new place, into our new apartment. And like 2 months later, he was like our office manager. Oh, no. He left working there. And then when we found that office, like when we found that apartment, he like waived our, our security deposit, because he was like the office manager. Like, he was in charge of like that property manager. And so we like met with this girl when we went in there, and she showed us the apartments and stuff like that. I can still remember that. It's so weird. Like, she and I going there. My boyfriend didn't go with us to go look. I remember she and I went and looked because he was working or something. And I remember we were so excited about looking at like the layouts of the apartments and stuff. Anyway, so, you know, we filled out our application to get approved and all that kind of stuff. And then, like, he called her and was like, oh, yeah, you guys are totally approved and whatever. And he was like, you know, I'm the property manager. And he was literally the property manager there through, I think, the entire time that they even got bought out twice, and he stayed there. He was the property manager. Long after she moved out, he was the property manager there, because he, like, always would, like, be there and be like, hey, Peter, how are you? And help me and stuff like that. And it just was really friendly. I remember when we had, like, the stalker with my ex, that first boyfriend of mine. He was the one that called me at work and was like, you need to get back here because the police got this guy. And, yeah, I wonder what happened to him. He was a nice guy. The stars are so bright tonight out in the country. I remember a couple years ago, I have this friend of mine. I have a friend of mine. I don't even know that I would call him a friend of mine, honestly. Well, I would call him a friend of mine. It's sad. I mean, the reason I say that is because I don't know how he considers me. And what I mean by that is that he has come in and out of this program so many times. And I pray for him and I love him. But when he goes back out there, I don't hear anything from him. I mean, it's like we were never friends. Like, he gets rid of all social media, which I think he only has Facebook anyway. He doesn't return calls. He doesn't return texts. He often moves out of state. And it just always breaks my heart. And then he'll come back and he'll get some time under his belt. And he's just such a fantastic person, and I love him. And this is nothing that I wouldn't say to him to his face. But one night, he got me. He called me. This was like, there was one summer that we hung out a lot together. And, it was the first year that I came back in to Sobriety. And, like, after having not gone to meetings for 4 years. And so, like, that whole year, especially that summer, like, I was going to 14 meetings a week. I was going to, like, Monday through Friday. Well, yeah, I was going to 14 meetings a week. And I was going to, like, the noon meeting, and then I was going to, like, the 8 o'clock meeting. But on the weekends, on Saturdays, I would go to, like, the noon meeting, and then there was a candlelight up in the north side of Indianapolis that I would go to. It doesn't exist anymore. And it was at 10:30, Well, afterwards, we used to all go to Steak and Shake afterwards. And on Saturday, so Friday night was Alex and I's date night. And then on Saturday night, he would go do stuff with his friends and I would do stuff with my friends. And then on Sunday, we would sleep in and go to brunch. And we would spend Sundays together. That's not true. I would go to the Sunday meeting on Sundays, come back. It started at like 11 o'clock. I would come back at like 12:30. I would sleep with Alex until like 12:30 to 1:30. And then we would go to brunch. And then come back and spend the rest of the day together. And then I would go to a candlelight at 8 o'clock in the evening. I did that for like my first year and a half back. So Saturday nights, I always hung out with friends like in the program. And one night, we went to Steak and Shake, and then he was like, come on, he was like, we need to get blankets and stuff, and I was like, he lived actually right around here, this is what reminded me of it, and I was like, what are we doing? And he was like, we're gonna go out to this park. There's all these little parks out here everywhere that, seriously, a serial killer could like murder you and nobody would ever know twice, or know anything about it. And he was like, we're gonna go watch shooting stars out here. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, he was like, or a meteor shower or something, but I think it was like shooting stars. And he was like, come on, we're gonna go out there, it'll be so pretty, we can just lay on our back. We're like gonna meet up with like 5 or 6 other people that had the meeting earlier. I was like, I am not going out in the middle of this thing. He got me out there, and I remember it was like this park, and you came down this like road, this asphalt road, and then you parked at the end, and then you could walk into the park. We didn't walk into the park, but it was like, all around us was like, on one side it was like corn that was like real high, and on the other side it was like woods. And I remember we all had like blankets, and we laid them on the pavement, and we all laid on our back, and we stared up at the sky, and it was just absolutely majestic. And to be out in the country and be able to see, like, you know, away from the city, and just to see like every star in the sky. And then, you know, and we saw shooting stars that night, you know, we did. And I think it was shooting stars. It wasn't a meteor shower, it was shooting stars. And it was such a great night. He and I used to go to Waffle House all the time. Oh my God. All the time. We would go to Waffle House, and then he lived in this house with this other girl. This guy that was sober like owned this house, and he rented it out to the two of them. And so it was kind of like a sober house, and we would go there, and he would make a pot of coffee, and we would sit there and play like card games at his kitchen table for hours and just laugh, just the two of us. I miss him. I'm so thankful, you know, for my sobriety, and I'm so thankful. I know this sounds crazy, but I'm so thankful for drugs and alcohol because if it hadn't been for that, I wouldn't have the life that I have today, because I would never have had the need to get sober. And I know that doesn't really make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but it makes sense to me. Anyway. But it has taken so many friends from me. And this is not somebody that uses drugs. This is somebody that just drinks. And drugs and alcohol have taken so many people from my life. And not only that, but they have made drugs and alcohol a priority in their life over me. And that was something I had to come to terms with, you know, in my in counseling. Was that my mom and many other people in my life have made drugs and alcohol a priority over me. And that maybe I've been aware of that for a very long time, but like, I never really truly acknowledged it. It's hard because, you know, there comes a point where you can separate like the alcoholic or the addict from the alcohol or the drugs, but you don't excuse it. And I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, you can love the person exclusive from the disease, of which I do believe it is, as defined by the American Medical Association, the disease concept of addiction. Which is crazy to me when people are like, anyway, I'm not going to get into that tonight, but when people are like, it's not a disease, I'm like, okay, that's like the American Medical Association says it's a disease, you know? Anyway, and I don't really understand that fight anyway. Like, why people don't want to believe that it's a disease. I mean, if it's a disease, and there's things that we can do to combat the disease, you know? But it's whatever. You know where I'm at with it is I don't even really care if people think that or not. I just want lives to be saved. Whatever you believe, I just want lives to be saved, you know? But the thing is that there comes a point where you can, and I just want lives to be saved at any expense too, you know? I think there comes a point where you can separate the addict or the alcoholic from the addiction and love them, but allow them to still take responsibility for their actions, you know? And I think that that's like, when you get to that point, like when you understand addiction enough, that it's like, you don't let them use it as an excuse. You don't let them just be like, yeah, well, I'm an addict or an alcoholic, so that's what goes. No, that's not what goes along with the territory. There are millions of alcoholics and addicts out there that are staying sober today and working in recovery programs and have, you know, fixed their lives. That's not an excuse. It just isn't. And I especially don't think it's an excuse when somebody has been exposed to recovery and has been introduced to recovery or treatment or 12-step program or therapy or counseling or spirituality or religion or whatever. I don't think it's an excuse at all. I think then it's like the seed has been planted and you have the information and you're choosing not to do anything with it, if that makes sense. But my hope for those people is that eventually, because the seed has been planted, they will come back to that, you know? My heart extends to any still suffering addict or alcoholic, but especially the ones that have never and will never be introduced to recovery. We'll never even hear about it, you know? Didn't even have a chance. The hell, I didn't get it my first time, you know? And there's no shame. This isn't a program of shame or blame. There's no shame in relapse or needing to start over or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just sad as hell at my friends that I miss. I miss them, you know? I'm mad at the drug that has a lot of power over people. I'm mad at the alcohol. It has a lot of power over people, you know? And I can separate people from the addiction, but I think this is the thing too. It's like, there comes a point when you have to stop enabling people and you have to say, I love you and I know that you are not the disease. I mean, I'm an addict and I'm an alcoholic, but that is not everything about who I am. And I don't know if that makes sense, but like, it's just the same as me saying that I'm gay. Like, I'm attracted to men, I identify as gay, I have a husband, but that's not everything about who I am. Just like me being in recovery or being an addict isn't everything about who I am, right? But at the same point, it's like, I think sometimes we want to separate the addiction from the person, and then we want to make it about 50 other things. Like, well, if they loved me enough, or if we could just get them away from these people, or if they just move to a different place. And that's the problem, is like, then we're separating them so much that we're enabling them, right? We're giving them the excuses, which for me, it's like when I go back and I say, I know this is probably crazy to people, but I'm very, very thankful for all the drugs and the alcohol that I used in my life, because it got me to where I am today. I have a life beyond my wildest dreams. I have an amazing life today. I have a spiritually full life today. I have people in my life that I love and that love me as a result of me getting sober. And a lot of that, in all honesty, I wouldn't have I don't know what my life would look like, I guess, but I wouldn't have that had I not gotten sober or had the need to get sober, you know? But what makes me sad is my friends that I've lost that are back out there. You know, and like I say that and it's like, I don't know, like I always get a couple people that will reach out to me or something and say, I feel so bad for your friends. Hell, half of them are having more fun now. You know, my one good Judy, she got sober like young and she took 21 years of sobriety. She went back out, you know, she picked up, started smoking pot. 6 months later, she was living on her drug dealer's couch. And you know, that's the hard part of the story. She didn't have any relationship with her kids anymore. That never knew her as a using mom. You think she cares? Her entire Facebook is pictures of her going to Grateful Dead shows and drinking in bars and all this kind of stuff. She picked up right where she left off. She acts like she's having the time of her life. I don't know. She looks like she's having a lot of fun to me. She ain't real worried about keeping in track with us, so I'll tell you that. It makes me sad. I miss her. I miss her like crazy. But I don't know that person. You know, that's the other thing. It's hard too. It's like, when you're sober and you have sober friends, like, that's the language that I speak with Tanya. Like, if Tanya tomorrow started drinking, like, Tanya and I would still be friends. I'm not gonna, like, if Tanya tomorrow started drinking again and gave up being sober, she's never gonna not be in my life, right? But, like, that's a language that we speak. You know what I mean? That's a commonality that we have. I can't even imagine what that would be like. And I do have some friends of mine that have left the program and we're still friends and we still talk and it's not weird. I run into people all the time that I've known through meetings and they're like, yeah, I don't go to meetings anymore. I'm like, well, how are you? It's good to see you. You know, like, I mean, it is what it is. You don't have to go to meetings to be right by me. You know what I mean? I'm not anybody to judge you. You do you. It works for me. That's all I know. And I got to keep on the right side for Peter because I got to keep on doing what's going to keep me healthy in recovery. Because every day sober is a day that I have a chance to live, you know? And if I'm back out there, I don't have a chance, I don't think. That's just for me. But I know a lot of people that went back out there. And hey, you know what? And a lot of them have shown that they are not alcoholics and addicts. So hell, I don't know, you know? But I know for me, and my friend I was talking about that I used to go to Waffle House, he needs this program. He's gonna be dead. He's gonna be dead. Like, I'm gonna get the call that he's gone. That's what breaks my heart. I miss him. That's probably not my place to say that he needs this program, but he'd say it himself anyway, probably. But you know, there's so much happiness that comes with getting sober, but there's a lot of sadness too, you know, and the reality is you see so many people make it. And one of the true blessings of being sober for a longer period of time is that I have had the true honor, the true honor of seeing so many people come in and get sober and stay sober. Like, that is such a privilege and an honor to see somebody come to their very first meeting and then they're there 5 years later, 10 years later, 15, you know what I mean? Like, that is so cool. And, but there's a lot of people that come in that you never see what happens to them and you never get to find out the end of the story. And it's kind of sad, you know? And I can't tell you how many times I'm sitting there like, you know, Tanya and I will drive home from a meeting and I'll be like, whatever happened to so-and-so? And she'll be like, yeah, I don't know. You know, or like so-and-so. And, you know, like we used to talk to, we, you know, I don't know, I haven't seen them in months, you know? So I don't know. All I know is that I love being sober. I am at 29 minutes and 32 seconds. I'm going to stop this. I'll be right back. It was going to stop anyway in 30 seconds. So But anyway, I think I'm gonna get off here now so that I can, because you know it takes me 9 minutes to do the outro anyway. But then I can listen to just a little bit of my audio, because it's already almost 4 o'clock, you guys. I can listen to a little bit of my audiobook before I go to bed, like a half an hour. This guy just ran a red light. He straight up just ran the red light. He was like, I am not waiting anymore. Okay, you do you. Anyway, I'm glad that he made it safely. But thank you guys so much for watching this vlog. If you made it this far in the vlog, please, and if you've made it this far in the vlog, thank you for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Put, if you made it this far, put a little emoji of the doggy face. That's like one of my favorite emojis for Boo and Tucker in the comment section below, or your little puppy or cat or whatever you have. And if you like this video, if you like this vlog, please give it a big thumbs up. And make sure that you're still subscribed to my channel, because people are getting unsubscribed to my channels again. And if you haven't already subscribed, think about subscribing. And if you'd like to, leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you don't want to, then how about just a blue heart for the OG Wolf Pack? That's all of us over here. And trying to get by through life. Somebody asked the other day, is it wolf or woof? It's woof. W-O-O-F pack. All of us trying to just get through life one day at a time, putting positivity, love, and kindness out there in the world. And I cannot believe it is Friday tomorrow. I hope you guys are having an amazing Friday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, do not have other plans. Make the most of your day. Do something fun today. Do something exciting. Try a new food. Put on a new outfit. Wear something that you wouldn't normally wear that speaks of your soul. Start a new movie, start a new book, start a new TV show. Do something that will make yourself proud when you look back on it tomorrow, or the next day, or next week, or next month, or next year, or 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, or 20 years from now, or 15 years from now, or 20 years from now, or 50 years from now, or 60 years from now, or 69 years from now, family friendly, or 80 years from now, or 88 years from now, or 100 years from now, or 110 years from now, or 120 years from now. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you tell yourself, I love you, and at least one positive affirmation like you are valuable. And every night before you go to bed, look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you, and at least one positive affirmation like you are valuable. And every night before you go to bed, say to yourself, tomorrow is going to be an amazing day. I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free all day tomorrow. I'm going to sing, I'm going to dance, I'm going to laugh, I'm going to cry if I want to or need to. I'm going to live my most authentic life. I'm going to be too much. I'm going to have the greatest day ever, the most amazing day. And I'm going to spend time with family and friends if I can. And if not, I'm going to spend some time with myself and enjoy my own company and my dogs or cats or lemurs or whatever. I can't think of that one animal that everybody used to have when we were in high school. They let run those long animals. Do you guys know? What are they called? I can't think of what they're called. Anyway, and yeah, I'm gonna do if I have to work today, I'm gonna do so with a smile on my face and do the best work I possibly can. And I'm also gonna enjoy all of my passions, my crafts, my crocheting, my reading, everything I love to do. And I'm gonna have great opportunities come my way all day today, and I'm gonna have positive experiences all day long. And if my day gets off track and I start becoming a negative Nancy, well, I can start my day over whenever I want. Why can't I not think of what that animal is? A ferret! A ferret! Oh my god, do you guys remember in high school kids used to always have ferrets? So anyway, that was kind of like the 80s animal with fringe leather jackets and jean jackets and t-shirts that said Misty on them with horses from the state fair. Anyway, and Def Leppard and AC/DC. Okay, and when you get up in the morning and say, today is going to be an amazing day. I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free all day today. I'm going to sing, I'm going to dance, I'm going to laugh, I'm going to cry if I want to or need to. I'm going to feel all of my emotions today. I'm going to live out loud. I'm going to live my most authentic self, my most authentic life, my most genuine life. I'm going to have just an amazing day today. And I'm going to spend time with my family and friends if I can, or if I want to, or if I can't or don't want to. I'm going to spend time alone and enjoy my own company. If I have to work, I'm going to do so with a smile on my face. And when I'm not working, I'm going to enjoy all of the things that I love in life, all of my passions. Do you guys remember the old soap opera Passions? I'm going to do my coloring books, and I'm going to garden, and I'm going to cook if I want to, and I'm going to make juice. My sister-in-law is making juices, and I think it's so cool. And they're called Jesse's Juices. But anyway, I'm going to do everything that I love in this world all in one day. I'm gonna watch everything that I love in one day. No, but I'm just gonna try to lead from a point of love and a point of peace and serenity in my life. And I'm gonna have great opportunities come my way all day long and positive experiences all day long. And if my day gets off track, well, and if my day gets off track, well, I can start, and I start becoming a negative Nancy or a negative Newman, I can start my day over, or a mean Mary, or mean Mister, or a sour Susan, or a sour Stephen Hill. I can start my day over, or a shady Stephen Hill. I can start my day over whenever I want. And most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. Just text them or call them and say, hey, was just thinking of you today. How are you doing? And let's not forget that, you know, that we need to do that. There's a lot of people that are still at home that aren't going anywhere, and let's let them know how much we are thinking of them or how much they mean to us. And that gal was just like sitting out there at that gas station out in the middle of nowhere. She's like smoking a cigarette on the side. I was like, that kind of is scary. Everywhere I turn, I see opportunities for serial killers. Truly, I do, though. It scares me. But anyway, I don't know what it says about me that I think that way. I either read too much of it or I don't know what. But anyway, we won't go there. But anyway, oh, look at the sky. It's so beautiful up there. It's like one little cloud and all these stars. Looks like heaven up there. Hi, Pee-Pee. I miss Pee-Pee so much. Is this my Pee-Pee cup? No, my Pee-Pee cup's in the washer. And also, practice random acts of kindness. But like I always say, don't tell anyone. Just do it because it's the right thing to do. It's a nice thing to do. Put goodness, kindness, compassion, love. Put all of that out there in the world. Lead with a point of love in everything that you do. And ask yourself, am I leading from a point of love, laughter, light, blessings, positivity, and kindness? Let's put all of that out there in the world. I know I can do a better job of that, and I know I need that on a daily basis from others. So, 2 minutes short on the vlog outro today. It didn't take me 9 minutes, it only took me 7. Maybe tomorrow we'll get it down to 5. And I think that's it. And I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya. Since I cut it short, 2 minutes short, I wanted to come back and say, one more, I love you. And I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Love ya. Bye.